Hello, hello, hello. So I am here to do something super duper fun. We're going to review one of the first pieces of copy I ever wrote. You could look at the date. It is May 1st, 2011 at 8:23 p.m. while I was sitting in New York, I'm sure, stressing out, not knowing what I was going to do with my life. I had come to this website that you see right here. It's called the Warrior Forum. It's what I found when I Googled the phrase, how to make money online. I was always a writer. So when I saw other people in this section, which still exists, by the way, offering up their services for this thing called copywriting, I read tons of them. And then I read their samples, and I read other sales letters, and I read sales letters for products that would teach you how to make money online. And I noticed the tricks that they were doing. I noticed the open loops. I didn't know that they were called open loops, right? I noticed some of the hypnotic stuff, but I didn't know it was called hypnotic stuff. And since I fancied myself a writer already, I was like, I could do this. And so the first piece of writing I ever wrote was pitching my own services as a copywriter. Some of you may think that's crazy, but it worked quite well for me. You'll see here, I think, that I addressed the elephant in the room of me having no experience. But the thing is, so here is the way this letter exists on the internet now, because over time, as I got results for people like this and whatnot, I, of course, updated the post. I updated the post to include those things. You'll see that it was the same original post date, approximately, but that I just updated the thread. And unfortunately, I cannot find every single update that was ever made to the thread. I wish I could. That would be awesome. But what I did was I took this current iteration, which still exists on this website right now. There's no buy button there. I'm not hireable there. And I popped it into the Wayback Machine. And this is the earliest version of it that the Wayback Machine could find. And so I'm going to take you through that because most of this is going to be some of my very first copywriting, but some of it is still updated because I started getting some testimonials at this point. But we'll just go through and I will roast myself a little bit and still say what's good. My dear fellow warrior, think your website should convert more? Here's why it doesn't. Okay, of course, this is not the juiciest, punchiest headline in the world, but I am saying I'm talking about them. I believe I'm meeting them where they are at, right? They have their website, they have their sales material online, but it is not quite working. Of course, this could use more curiosity. It could use more immediacy. So it's not, I would say it's not the strongest, but what it does do well is sort of meet my prospect where they are at. And I am jumping into providing value to them a little bit, right? Here's some information about why your website is not performing as well as it should, which I think is okay, but I could probably still use a bit more punch in the gut, a bit more impact, and a bit more immediacy that I could open a loop to something like this, right? When you read on, you'll discover why, but first, here's why this is so important, something like that. Snooze fest, boring, and unoriginal sales copy puts readers off and they bounce. Unrelatable terminology never grabs the right attention in the first place. Unbelievable claims make readers run for the hills. Poorly written copy raises doubt in the quality of your product, and visitors take their open wallets elsewhere. I like the power of snooze fest, boring and unoriginal. I like that I open the bullet with that. I think that that's pretty powerful. The term bounce, I felt clever. I remember 11 years ago, 11 years ago, feeling clever because bounce has two meanings there, right? There is quite literally the bounce rate when somebody leaves, and bounce is also like a slang term, especially back in the early 2000s. I'm gonna bounce. Visitors take their open wallets elsewhere. I knew I was being hypnotic here and sort of calling my reader to open their wallet at the same time. Because when you picture an open wallet, the brain is not so smart to immediately distinguish their open wallet, my open wallet. So I was already playing around with doing some hypnotic things to them. I'll be stark. If your sales copy isn't written by me, it's at risk of these money-sucking pitfalls and many others. So, I knew I was being brash, right? And so I called it out. And I like the power here. If your copy isn't written by me, it's at risk of all of these. So I'm making it very personal. Ask another question. Ready to crank up your profits? That's desirable, of course. That's an easy yes question. Everybody wants that. Me too. Your website must compel readers to take action, in most cases, immediate action. It's the provocative words, not any sort of flashy design, that turns casual visitors into paying customers. So I knew provocative, right, is an emotional word. It triggers a little bit of emotion within you. And I had noticed on this forum there are a lot of designers, so I'm sort of calling out, hey, if you're making a decision to get a redesign or a rewrite, go with me, do the rewrite. So I thought that was okay. Your sales copy is an investment. What's even more important, it is your money maker. That's why I know you take it very seriously. That is also a hypnotic command. I'm obsessed with hypnotic stuff. So I still am to this day. So I'm telling them, you take it seriously. I know you do. And that's what makes you different. You're good. All of that, I could add that when I say that's what makes you different. That would be a useful thing to kind of bolster up my prospect and make them feel like, oh yeah, I am different. I do take it seriously. That's why I'm going to hire Laura. So I speak a little bit more to the story and where they're at. I could definitely... What could I be doing here to make it better? I think some of the text decoration is not the best. I would rather nowadays have just one line in bold so that scanners read that one line, hopefully. But what I'm doing very effectively here is I'm really speaking to where they're at, So if you sought to hire a professional copywriter before, I wouldn't be surprised if the price scared you off. Stellar copywriters can charge $2,000 or more for a sales letter. That's so crazy. Oh my God. If somebody could hire like a great writer for $2,000, they're getting the steal of a lifetime. But you see where I'm at all those years ago. That's $1,000 deposit just to get in the door. So of course I'm already starting some price anchoring. You can tell that I am going to offer a package that is way, way less than $2,000, remarkably. Now you're able to finally get your own high caliber sales letter with guaranteed conversions for just a fraction of that cost. And it's very important to your, there's always a typo, business that you pay close attention to my offer, because copy that sells is the backbone of your business. And I like my backbones quite sturdy, don't you? Bottom line, your time is valuable. Stop wasting it and invest in copy that sells. So I bounce around a little bit. I would say there is no huge through line. I don't know how much it matters on a forum like this, because these people are looking to hire a copywriter. They come like to the forum, they go to the copywriters for hire, and so they're looking for it. So I wouldn't say that this beautifully reasoned sales argument is as important here as it is elsewhere, but my more experienced eye looking at this, 11 years later, says there's no real through line. There are no amazing transitions here. So if I were to take this to the next level, that's something that I would look at. So we just pop in some testimonials. My reading will open your readers' wallets to you. Again, I am intentionally doing that twofold. My writing is opening your wallet to me, and it will open your readers' wallets to you. It's not a mere sales letter. Seriously powerful, compelling writing that makes visitors crave what you got. I'm offering you my obsession with psychology and certain buttons we all have that make us act certain ways, and I'm going to put my obsession to work for you. So this is a little bit of my mechanism, right? What makes me different as a copywriter from all of the other copywriters out there? Now, as I say these words out loud to you, and this is why I often encourage you to do Loom critiques, video critiques of your own work, when you speak about it, you end up saying what's written in a different way, and often the way that you say it, it could be useful to add into the letter. So when I say this is what makes me different, that's a good line that could be added here. And not just this is what makes me different, but this is why you will benefit from working with me because I'm so different, right? So now I'm not just sitting around talking about what makes me so great. I would be talking about what my future client has to gain from tapping into what makes me different and what makes me great. So all of that is stuff that I would add here if I were to rewrite this piece. I'd also put a hard period here because this is a new point, and I'm going I'm being hypnotic once again here. Think about that excited feeling that grows deep within you as you start to desire something new, and how that feeling intensifies once you imagine the new item in your life. My writing makes readers feel this exact desire and anticipation, and my writing develops those feelings into sale after sale after sale. So I think that's pretty good. Develops into sale, that's a little awkward, so the language could be a tiny bit tightened up, but ultimately I think all of this could be made more clear as my unique mechanism, and again what that person on the other end of the line has to gain once they tap into my mechanism. But the cleverness of, I'm saying it's my writing is going to have this effect on your readers. And it's my hope. I don't say this, but it's my hope that this writing is having the same effect on my prospect, right? I'm doing a bit of a push-pull here, which again, I wouldn't say the through line is perfect, but the idea of a push-pull is good. So, this should really get my prospect's desire going, right? And then I kind of take it away. Does your copy tug at the wallet strings by employing the proper techniques? If you're not sure, then it probably doesn't, and that's why I got to get my hands on it. So, first of all, I acknowledge that this might not be a perfect yes or no question. A lot of times writers or coaches will try to tell you, give them easy yes questions, work them up the yes ladder. That's useful. I'm not saying ignore it, but I'm saying to only focus in that direction is a bit too simplistic. So I like sometimes giving questions that are hard to answer because they might not know. But here's the thing, you call that out, okay? And if you don't know, that's a problem. If you're not sure, I got to get my hands on it. And I got to get my hands on it because it shows my passion and my enthusiasm and my hunger to help them and to deliver great work. What would things be like for you if your website made 2 times, 3 times, or 5 times more sales? Think about that for a second. Would you work less, spend more time on other projects, treat yourself more often? You deserve all of these, and now your website can double, triple, or more in sales with my professional copy. My fundamentally strong sales copy that raises readers' impulses to buy hits every mark. I consider all of the eyes that may ever fall on your sales page, the various personality traits and preferences each of your visitors will have, and I speak to each of them. So here's a little bit of what we call dimensionalization, right? It's not just that your website will make more money. What is so great about your website making more money? Of course, this could really be expanded on even more. I could perhaps tell a story about somebody, be that a client of mine, or what's the word I'm looking for? An allegory, right? Like, here's Bob, and once Bob's website started making double the money, here's what Bob was able to do. Do you want to be like Bob? So great opportunity to tell a story there, which I did not do. So if I was critiquing somebody else's work, I would encourage that. I tell them they deserve it. This is a point I would expand on even more. You really do deserve it. You're doing all this work. You're trying to make this work. You most likely want to support, enhance, uplift other people, your family, yourself, your community. So you deserve getting my sniper copy to help you do that, right? And then we move a little bit more into what I would call my mechanism. So as a macro edit, I would probably keep this like tied in with where I talk about the other stuff that is unique to me as a copywriter. So it's just a little bit, better organized. I speak to each of them. This draws your visitors' pointers to your buy button constantly. So again, I'm hoping to have the same effect on my future client themselves. So here's where I do what we call price justification. To get sales copy of the quality that I produce, you normally have to spend at least $2,000 these days. I think with a more competitive landscape, right? And good copywriters just charging more and more, and inflation and all of this other shit. To get copy of the quality that I would produce, we're talking a 5-figure minimum. But can you still get a decent sales letter for $2,000? I think so. Honestly, I think so. In fact, most 5-star copywriters only charge $2,000 to their buddies. So you'd have to know one personally. You'd be looking at spending $5,000 on a sales letter, and it'd be worth every penny. You better believe it, because quality sales letters flaunt some of the following necessary yet often overlooked characteristics. Okay, so here's even more like stuff you need. I would argue that this kind of comes out of nowhere here in this letter. I would probably put this higher up and position it as, there are a few different things you could do. One would be a laddering technique, which is called like, here's the bad option, and here's likely where you are currently, and here's the great option. Here's what things look like when you're really good. So it could be, do you want to go from here having this, or you can also position this higher up as a lesson, right? Giving value in advance and like, look, does your copy have all this? Are you certain? If you're not sure, I got to get my hands on it. So I think in this piece, it comes a little bit out of nowhere, but, I go easy on myself. Like, well, maybe it worked out really well right here coming in out of nowhere. Again, this format on this forum, the mistakes are much more forgivable, and that applies to anywhere. If you're posting somewhere where people are going and seeking you out, right? Little mistakes are much more forgivable because they're showing up and they already want it. But yeah, if I was to re-put this onto a website where people were coming to me cold and I really had to sell them on my services, I would definitely work this into the letter in some sort of different way. But here are some of the things your copy needs. In fact, I would say what makes copy like mine so great. You could even borrow other authority here. So if I were to say, what makes copy like Carlton's and Make Pieces and mine so great, then I borrow their authority and I kind of jump up the ladder there with them. And I give these lessons of, things that make sales copy really good. My copy flaunts the above general qualities and many more specific ones to overdrive sales, maximize your return on investment in many ways you didn't think possible, and do so quickly. I would say that that's vague, and that opens up some disclarity and an unclear, like, what ways I didn't think possible? Oh, you're not going to tell me what they are? So I would definitely say to cut that, get that out of there. It serves no point. My copy will maximize your return on investment in ways you didn't think. Okay. And then, so I know that this posting got updated over time when I started, getting stuff, when I started getting work online and getting results for people. So I pasted in some samples, which I think they kind of exist. Again, this stuff being super duper old, they might not exist perfectly formatted because they're going to go through the Wayback Machine here, but I will open those threads in a second. We can check them out. Fact. I would do more. Definitely. I would say, like, why do they have to read this fact, right? What's at stake if they skip this fact, right? Like, important fact you must know. At the very least, something like that is way more powerful than just the word fact. Improving your sales copy now is the fastest way to generate more sales, bar none. Don't waste another visitor on lackluster copy. Order your professionally custom written sales page today, and I guarantee you it will convert. So, yeah. I think the thought of wasting another visitor is juicy, and that could be beefed up more. Like, look, you have people coming to your website right now, and more of them could be converting to customers. But because of those 3 mistakes or whatever, they're not. Because you're missing all of this stuff, they're not. Like, do you really want another day to pass where 10, 20 visitors come to your website and they don't buy when they could be buying? So all of that, it just really enhances the fear of loss, the potential immediacy for them to get results. Like, what if this was fixed this month? Like, wouldn't that be huge? And I could go into all the dimensionalization behind how great it would be if that problem was fixed this month. So I think that's a nugget that could be expanded upon quite a bit to make my piece more powerful. And now I talk about this guaranteed conversions thing. So it's wild that I offered this, because these days, you get, like, traffic just comes from so many different places. It's hard for a copywriter to control where the traffic comes from. It's hard for a copywriter to control the dev and make sure the dev is clean and the load times are fast. And, God forbid they put, like, say one of my clients had put a sales letter online and they didn't know it, but the page load on whatever browser was 5 seconds, 6 seconds. I mean, that's a conversion killer no matter how good the copy is. What if on mobile the buy button didn't work or the checkout button didn't work? Like, that could be a conversion killer no matter how good the copy is. So for that reason, most copywriters do not guarantee conversions these days, but it's something I did back then, again, to make myself more irresistible. I have a training, a recent training that I created called Unrivaled Messaging, and in that are some of these strategies. How can you make the offer itself unrivaled? And so here's one way I did that. I am guaranteeing conversions to my clients because I put my money where my mouth is. Here's how it'll work. You send 2,000 visitors using different traffic generation methods, and if it doesn't convert, I'll work on it until it does, period. So this is not a bad guarantee. Like, I would test, if you're a freelance copywriter and you're having a tough time closing clients, I might structure some sort of guarantee like this with them. Okay. One, because it requires that they send a sufficient amount of traffic. And frankly, for you as a copywriter, if you have a client who is able to generate traffic, you want them to be happy, right? You want them to hire you again. You want the work to do well so you can point to it and say, hey, here's one of my winning sales letters. Offering a guarantee like this is going to make your client more likely to get it online and get it tested, right? If anything, they want to prove you right and win, or they want to prove you wrong and say, hey, you got to keep working on this until it converts. And offering another benefit of offering some sort of guarantee like this is it's going to make you learn a fuck ton more, right? Because say they send those 2,000 clicks, and it's funny because I am a little bit vague, right? I say it doesn't convert. Like, does that mean 0% conversion rate? Does it mean 1% conversion rate? Like, what does it mean? I will tell you this. I have never, ever, ever had to give a refund for my copywriting in my life. I never have had to laboriously work on an offer to get it to work. So if you're terribly afraid of that happening, and you're in, you got to keep modifying this sales letter forever, it's never really happened. I mean, ultimately, everybody wants to win here, right? Everybody wants something to work. And if they see that you've tried and you've worked hard, they tend to just let it go, or they'll see maybe this isn't the offering, or maybe this isn't the audience, or whatever. But if, say they send their first 2,000 visitors and it doesn't convert at all, and they're like, hey, copywriter, what the hell's the problem here? It gives you the chance to look through and really start to dig in and see, well, what is the problem here? Is it the sales letter itself? You learn to ask questions like, well, where is your traffic coming from? Is this targeted traffic? Did they come from a pre-sale message that is congruent with my sales letter? Or are they coming from a totally fucking random place with no congruency? Then you learn how to make things congruent, right? Are they coming from Facebook ads? Okay, let me go look at the Facebook ads and make sure it's a tee up to my sales page. All right, let me check the emails that they're coming from, whatever it is. So I kind of don't mind you offering a guarantee like this. And if you see that it just gets you piss poor clients, no shade to them, that work you to the bone but send poor traffic, or that work you to the bone but they don't show you the pre-sale ad or something like that, that's grounds for you to say, hey, I don't have the information I need to continue working on this. Best of luck. And like I said, I've never, ever, ever had to issue a refund for copywriting. But again, if you find, oh my God, everybody I'm getting from this is annoying, then we just change it. Then you just wouldn't offer this anymore. But if you're in a place like, I really want to close a client tomorrow, it's not a bad strategy to try. I would highly encourage it. So why do I guarantee? I'm positive I can make people buy from you. It's that simple. Again, I am also posting this to a forum where it's sort of a community. I kind of know everybody. Everybody on the forum works hard and wants to succeed. So there's some insulated safety there. In fact, to make sure you have the same safety, obviously you can only take on clients that are a right fit for this, right? Now you could get some interest. They could ask you about it. You could say, hey, what are your other offers? Or where do you get traffic from? Or how big is your list? Things like that. And then you bet, oh, this is a good person for me to make this guarantee deal with, right? Okay. I'm not charging $5,000, not even charging $2,000. So I've been echoing this $2,000 number here. So it's going to be less than that. $297. $297. Unbelievable. This is more than half off of what I charge clients on my website. That was true at the time. I had a website called thecopypoet.com, and I wish I'll check the Wayback Machine and maybe in another video if any of my copy for myself on there exists, we could definitely go through it. But thecopypoet.com does not exist anymore. So this is truly a special offer for the people on the forum. Professionally researched, diligently written sales letter that compels and converts guaranteed for only $297. Of course, a number scarcity, 5 clients at a time. Once I receive 5 orders, I will close this offer. So I know the first time I wrote this number was like $97. Very logical scarcity here. Obviously, I cannot write like 25,000 sales letters at once. I could even say that sentence in there, right? I can't write 25,000 sales letters at once, just to make it even more believable and more real, that very real scarcity in number of packages available. And here's where I move into some sort of negative closing, right? If you say no, that comes at a consequence. In fact, it's way more expensive than $297. The most expensive decision you can make is to miss this opportunity today. I think this could be even tighter. Like, saying no to this is the most expensive decision you can make. Or saying no to this will cost you way more than $297, right? I think the idea here is good, but the language could get even more powerful and stronger and more explicit. I even think this, like that is its own possibility, right? Like what is every single possibility somebody who reads this has? Possibility number 1, they say no, they just walk away and move on with their life. I could really detail what that looks like, okay? And then another section, possibility number 2, finding a cheaper copywriter, though it's unbelievable that there were copywriters cheaper than $297, but that's still, and then I would make that its own section. Possibility number 2, you go with a cheaper copywriter, and I'm going to tell you all the ways that's way more fucking expensive in the long term, and it would have to do with everything I taught, right? You go with a cheaper copywriter, they're not going to have this, right? They're going to have those mistakes that we said at the top instead. But here I kind of just compile it all together into one. So I believe that's an opportunity that would exist to make this letter even stronger. And of course, I have a huge point of differentiation with them not guaranteeing conversions, right? I could really paint out what that looks like, right? You get something, it sucks, and the writer is gone. You have nothing. You're literally back at the beginning. Hundreds or even thousands of sales. If you miss out on even 100 sales, how much would that cost you? Thousands of dollars, depending on how much your product sells for. That could be, remember the Bob story. Like we can make it even more specific. Even if your product's only $5, how much are you missing out on? Double what I charge, pretty much, right? Hundreds of dollars more than what I charge. That's too much risk. Don't take that risk and secure your website's profitability with my dazzling sales copy today. So what I'm doing here is risk reversal, right? I'm saying the real risk is you not working with me. You working with me is risk-free. It's a guarantee. So all of that could be more powerfully and clearly said, much in the way I'm saying it right here, right now on this video. Once we start working together, you won't have to worry about whether your website will make you money. You'll have a perfectionist, professional copywriter's your secret weapon, guaranteeing that your site makes money, period. Once we start working together, that's assuming the sale, right? It's a little bit of a hypnotic close. How this will work, this is always good to do. So, watch. After you place your order, you'll be emailed a simple questionnaire. I'll draft and format a full sales letter. I'll perform any revisions. You'll be completely satisfied. Ooh, and then I say you only have to do half up front. Gnarly. No wonder I sold out of these all the time. It was very quick. I think it was like every 5 I would raise my price. Every 5 I would raise my price. But yeah, how this will work. In fact, it's always good, of course, to paint the picture exactly what's going to happen after they click the button and buy. In fact, I would add that. I would have a new step 1 that says you will click the button, enter your PayPal info, because I accepted, I think, only PayPal at that time. And then you'll click the green Pay Now button just to get it that more specific and that more hypnotic. And then all these other details are fine. I kind of like how I drop in, and actually it's only going to be half up front. In fact, I don't think it's necessary. I think I could have easily just kept it as the full $297 up front. Since I did that, then it becomes even more irresistible, right? Because they were ready to pay $297. And then I'm like, actually, it's only $148.50. You'd be so in love you'd take the copy to bed with you. No kidding. That's me being a little bit sexy. It's part of my style. And then I say, send the 2,000 visitors to your site. Watch the consistent sales roll in. In the unlikely event that it doesn't convert, I'll work on it. Until it does, you face no risk. I like that because it's future casting, right? You're painting that image of the future, and you could do even more with that. You could say you log into your ClickBank account, or you log into whatever, your Stripe account these days, or your Samcard account, and you get to see the sales. Okay. Secure your professional sales letter with guaranteed conversions now. 5 slots available. There would have been a buy button right there. Looking forward to working with you, Laura Catella. And then the postscript. These were really popular back in those days. I don't see them too much anymore. But the idea of the postscripts, and I love bringing back old school stuff. So I encourage you to try it out. So the postscripts are for people who scroll all the way down to the bottom. You know, they want to see the price. They want to see the buy button. And the hope is you get them to read a little something, at least here in the postscript. Let's get personal. I Jones to create powerful sales copy. It lights me up. That's why you can rest easily knowing your website's profitability is in the hands of an incredibly dedicated copywriter. What am I saying? I'm hungry. I love it. I take it personally. It matters to me. Postscript number 2, I am prepared to stand by my skill with guaranteed conversions. So this one is a little bit of the mechanism, right? So that recaps the mechanism a little bit. It could be stronger. And this one is another point of differentiation with the guarantee. Of course, I'm considering the fact that I guarantee conversions to be something quite juicy in this particular offer. So it's worth making a postscript, a PS, just for that. And a little bit, don't miss out. And here, if you have any questions, you could reach out. We could chat. I look forward to building a relationship. So there it is. Here is some of my very, very first piece of copy ever. Now, I will tell you, in an even earlier version of this page, the very, very, very first version of that mentioned that this is my first time writing a letter. And if you like it, take a chance on me. And that's why I only charge $97. As soon as I had other letters, I was like, well, I don't need to say that anymore. Well, at this point, I've already got a few letters under my belt. But if you look, I have no idea what I mean. Only 2 review sales pages left. Only 1 review sales. See, price will jump to $97. Say $67. So I'm literally, the $67 pages were when I had no experience. And then I got them at $97, and then I got them at $297. And this is so funny. And then the reviews start coming in. Look at this. This was one of my first titles for it. Only 4 $97 sales letters and $157. Perfectionist copywriter chick is ready to pop your pocket. How funny. Let's see, my name used to be Bambi. Do I dare? What does that even mean? It was a line from a poem I like. $67. So as you could see, that $67 version of this letter, it's such a bummer that I can't find it anywhere. If any of you sleuths on the internet are out there and you can find the version, the $67 version, let me know. We could definitely take a look at that. But hopefully there is some helpful stuff in here. I think there are some ways for copywriters to stand out even today. You could definitely steal some of the stuff I did here to stand out even today. And some of the fundamentals of copywriting never, ever, ever go away, right? Meeting them where they're at, differentiating yourself from everybody else in your market, talking about what makes you powerfully you, right? What makes you so different, giving a little bit of education. And of course, a negative close, right? What happens if they don't buy? What happens if they go with somebody cheaper? Painting the picture of what happens after they buy, just all solid fundamentals. Here's part 2. Here is the current iteration of that sales letter. It's still incredibly old. This is still from like 2011, 2012, but you'll get to see some of the updates I made from that close to first version of it to the way that it exists right now. You'll see from that first version to the way it exists right now, I got some results for people. So I, of course, opened up with those results. You'll even see my little thread title change, $13 EPCs. That stands for earnings per click. It's a great metric. Wouldn't you love every click to your website or sales page to earn you $13? So that's a great metric. $100,000 over the weekend for a launch that I worked on. This copywriter brings money, 2 slots available, save $2,000, open and see proof. So one of the things I want to show you you could tell I became more sophisticated here, is I gave that micro call to action, right? I'm not asking them to buy just from the thread title. I'm asking them to just open it, and I'm giving a juicy piece of bait, like see the proof. You'll get to see the proof behind these great results. Just come in and check it out. Just come in and check out the proof. It's like free candy. Come in for a little free candy. So I liked how I became more sophisticated and added that micro commitment to the thread title. And then I just jump in with big, juicy, delicious results, right? Do you want $100,000 over the weekend? Fuck yeah, I do. 13,800 in under 36 hours on a $7 product. So even if your products are low ticket, you can still crush it. Very high conversion rates. Are your sales pages sucking in money like this? If they're not, I'm a little bit nervous, right? Again, that is a line that I could add. I could open a loop there. If not, read on to see how you can join these ranks or how you could get these results for yourself. I think that would be a very fantastic line to add there. So we move into just a little quote. I should say the person who said this, that would be a helpful piece of information right there. I think it comes down. You'll see it in the comments down below. But I paid over $20K for copy. Laura is by far one of the best. So somebody else is luckily price anchoring me out of the gate. I'm not going to charge $20K. I'm going to charge less than $20K. These are all of the badasses who are on this forum at the time. At this point, I had written for all of them, so I got to say something very cool. What do these superstars have in common? Me. I think from a formatting side, if I had me in great big red, it would look pretty cool. Generally, you don't want your sales copy to be all about you, but there are moments like for a copywriter, for a service provider, for a coach, right? Where you put your dick on the table, right? You are the standout. You're like, yeah, bitch, it's me. So I think that would have been a cool thing to do there. I give some of my accolades here. These are just all the ways my copy was crushing it for people at this time. A cash spewing rocket in your pocket. I'm always doing like bold, aggressive, strong language. I really believe in that. Like it is copywriting after all. Like the words are designed to make you stand out. So I love cash spewing rocket in your pocket. It's pretty crazy. I do the asterisk. This is a trick I still love to this day because then the asterisk is like, wait, where's the small print? Where's the small print? And then my small print just sells me even more, right? So they go check the small print. My copy has helped drive over $1 million in sales. Limited flash sale opportunity for the next 2 lucky warriors. Don't hesitate. So of course I'm giving juicy results and I'm saying you don't have much time. There's only 2 available. Really juicy turnaround time. 1 week is super duper fast, and I was able to write that fast at this point. And another little micro CTA. Add me on Skype. Let's talk about it right now. There was my username on Skype at the time. I will definitely say that there is no through line. Just like in the previous one we looked at, there's still no real through line. It does jump around, but I think the forum format is forgivable and even agreeable to the jumping around. Again, this is a warm audience. These are people who know they want to hire some writing. So talking about some results, I got some testimonials from people. And then this is quite similar. So I pulled up the old original version of this, right? Where we start with, think your website should convert more. Here's why it doesn't. Now, let's see how I grew, right? In just a few months. I open a loop to it, right? In this short but important letter, I'm going to reveal the 4 black holes in your sales copy that might be unknowingly sucking up 20% more of your profits. Now I'm literally, that's so funny. See, I didn't even realize it. In part 1, where I reviewed this, I said, okay, this needs to be beefed up more. There needs to be more immediacy. They need to know why it's really important that they see this. And then lo and behold, that is what I go on to do. So I follow my own advice. Now I call them the 4 black holes, and they're unknowingly sucking up 20% of the profits. Not only that, but I'll share the one unstoppable way to shovel these profits directly back into your bank account and seal up the holes for good. So let's get right to it. Okay, so it's not a huge open loop, but it's a little bit more of an open loop, and it explains why this is so important. The 4 reasons why most copy converts like crap. How did I have it here? Here's why yours doesn't work. So what I would change in this version is copy converts like crap. Like that's bold, that's aggressive. I like that. But instead of it being removed, right? Why most copy, I would say, here are 4 reasons why your copy is not to the standard you want. I would make it directly relevant to them. I don't know if I would be so aggressive as to say, here are 4 reasons why your copy converts like crap. If I were, I would do it, today, this version of Laura would do it in the way, 4 reasons your copy may be converting like crap, or something like that. Because I don't want to say your copy definitely sucks. I don't know that it sucks. I could say why most copy sucks. That's okay. But if I want to relate it to the individual I think you get what I'm saying. 4 reasons why your copy may be converting like crap. And it's the same 4 that I had in that original letter. Here's the same thing I had in this original letter, right? If it's not written by me, ready to crank up your profits, me too. So here's great. So I talked about laddering in our original video where I went through this. This isn't exactly laddering, but I'm saying you want this, I have this. So I added this in to just make it stronger, right? Again, really meeting them where they're at. You have a great product, don't want to labor through writing copy, don't want to shell out 10K. Again, more price anchoring. I have the great skill, I'm ready to do it, and I won't charge you 10K. Sounds like a good match, right? Easy yes question. Snatch me up and put me to work for you so your prospects are left without question as to how much of a no-brainer your offer is and instantly become your buyers. And then, so I just added that section. And I think it's a section definitely worth adding. Any service providers, coaches, copywriters out there could very easily craft something like this for yourselves, can't you? Just to show, hey, great match, you and me. All of this is the same, but I believe I changed the numbers. This is hilarious. So I know you take it very seriously. Now I'm able to say with my proven sales copy, 100x ROI, simply no better place for you to shop for sales material than with me, period. Again, I'm really doing the work. I'm saying, hey, I bring it. I stand out. I am ballsy. I'm gutsy. I'm not afraid. Work with me. So I love that. I'm not just going to say like the things that make me uniquely me, my mechanism, right? What makes me uniquely me, but I'm showing it. I'm showing it in the work, and I love that. Funnily enough, as my rates went up, the price comparison, price anchoring rates went up. See, I'm saying it's $2,000. And then you come over here when I'm going to charge $2,000, I say it's $10,000. That makes sense. And it's true, right? The quality of clients I went on to work with, as my rates went up, they were the types who would spend $5,000 to $10,000 on a sales letter. Okay. You could get it at a fraction of the cost. Again, same backbone of the business. Invest in copy that wows and sells. So I noticed in all of these testimonials, people would say, wow, wow, wow. So what I originally said, invest in copy that sells. I'm like, well, all these people are saying wow. Let me add the wow. Wows and sells. Observe my wow factor in action. And then I get the testimonials. Wow, 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 all that. My writing will open readers' wallets to you, same as I had before, hoping for the hypnotic effect of also opening my clients' wallets to me. I just want to see if there are any real differences here, because I think there are. I talk about my obsession with psychology. Convert. Does it tug at the wallet strings? If not, probably not. I think I beefed this up a little bit more. As soon as you know how good an investment is for you, you run to take the chance at it. So that is hypnotic, right? Apparently, I'm talking about my clients' prospects, but really I'm talking about my prospects. So very sneaky. Again, a little bit of dimensionalization here. It's not just making more sales. Why is making more sales so great? Fussing with less things. I learned this, hanging around, working with clients, like they're also struggling with this stuff. But if they're making more money per each visitor, they won't have to struggle with that. So, take notes. I encourage my coaching students, write down the story of every single client you work with. What were they doing? Why did they choose you? How did you help them? What was challenging? What worked out perfectly? All of that, those are individual stories you could tell to your audiences. And you'll learn from each and every one of them, and you'll more thoroughly digest the learning. So in realizing that my clients were going through this and they didn't have to do it as much, right? Once their sales pages started converted way more, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a benefit. Let me add that into my own messaging. And we go into a lot more detail about how you can strategically implement this stuff in my unrivaled messaging training, just so you know that's available to you. Now, I know this original version, I think I say I consider all the personality types, right, to fall on your sales page. But how I beef it up, right, is I say, are you doing this? Do you consider all the types of eyes? Do you know every single personality type that's reading your page and making sure they all buy? It's a daunting task, because now I feel like, oh shit, I'm not doing that, or that $20 copywriter isn't doing that, right? I'm like, don't worry, I'm going to do that for you. And it'll draw the pointers to the buy now button constantly. Price justification, $10,000 is worth every penny, because it has this stuff. Check out what I say about this section in part 1 of this series if you have not seen that yet. And then here are my lists of samples, right? I think a lot of these do still exist, so you can entirely come to this link and check out my samples. And you could see at this time, just in the course of a few months, one, I was not charging a lot, so I got a lot of clients, but I was just working my ass off like crazy, writing. So I've built up, here are individual ones, but you see even this link like has a ton more samples. So at this point I have a ton of samples. Here, I changed the fact. So let's look here. In my first version, I say improving sales copy is the best way to generate more sales, bar none. I also mention, and I'll repeat it here, I could say way more than just the word fact, right? I'd say, at the very least, important fact you need to know right now, like really beef up versus just the word fact. Okay, that falls a little flat. But I change what the fact is because of my learning and my experience with my clients. You don't need more traffic, right? They're all like, I need more traffic. I want more traffic. I'm going to buy traffic. I'm going to improve my SEO. I'm going to do these affiliate deals, all of this to get more traffic. I'm like, you don't need more traffic. If you improve your sales copy, you'll make more money with the same traffic. So I think I could beef that up even more and say literally that. You don't need more traffic, improve your sales copy, you're going to make more money with the same amount and even less traffic, right? And now we're getting juicy, so that could still be beefed up even more. And then I talk about the flash sale because I always did this in the style of I'm just taking 2, 3, 5, however many. I'm going to give you guys a chance to truly crush it. Sales copy $11.97. Now I'm charging $11.97, but that's not it. I'm going to give you 2 affiliate swipe emails as a bonus. Open for 2 warriors only. And now first of all, I think it would have been worth keeping. So in this version, one, I could have kept guaranteed conversions because I know I never faced a problem with that with a client. But I suppose at this point I'm getting so many leads, I just didn't need it. I didn't need to assume the risk, so I didn't include it. But I think I could have kept this. Saying no is the most expensive decision you can make today, and then having a whole paragraph or 2 that describes how and why that is. And then also there are cheaper copywriters out there, and all of the ways they're actually more expensive, right? There are cheaper copywriters out there and they'll cost you more than $11.97. I really like making that distinction crystal clear. So that's a way I would have improved that line. Talk about all the things that could go wrong, right? If you miss out on 100 sales, how much would that cost you? Again, I like the idea of telling an explicit story there. How this will work. Again, I like the idea of adding in step 1, you click the button and buy. That's the first important step, and I really want to paint that picture. So that's my $11.97 package. You get a sales letter and 2 affiliate swipes. My Postscript 2 changes, of course, because I don't do the guaranteed conversions. I think I could have done more of a reverse close here. Like saying no is going to cost you way more than $11.97. And just a little bit of scarcity, and then saying the price will go up. So those 3 postscripts make sense. And you can just see all the comments kept coming in, a few questions that I answer, the wows. Everybody says I do a really, really good job for them, and I worked super hard for them. There we go. You got to see some of the updates. There weren't a ton between my very first version of this post and the version that still exists on the internet, though you cannot hire me from it today. So hopefully this was fun. I really enjoyed filming it. Again, if you could go back even further in time and see the version where, because this is it at 97, or I'm sorry, this is it at 297. This is it at $11.97. If you could, but it started at $67. If you could find the version where it was just $67, definitely let me know. And thank you so much for watching. Any questions, sound out in the comments. If you're curious about unrivaled messaging, Google it, find it. It's available on the internet. Maybe we'll have a link for it in the description. It is bomb. It'll help you do this and way, way, way better, because keep in mind this was written in 2011 and it's 2022 when I created unrivaled messaging, so I've learned a ton more. Appreciate you guys. Talk soon.